Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Rudy London. I'm a licensed cognitive behavior therapist and a licensed mental health counselor. This is all my thoughts, my speculations, and my opinions only. May the correct justice be served for the 4 victims. I'd like to start by thanking all my subscribers, my viewers, for all your support. Your kind, mindful, intelligent, respectful comments. We have a lot of respect for the victims and their families, and for each other. We are all entitled to our opinions without accusing anyone. But there will always be things that don't make sense. I'm not a person who says, just example, I'm Team Hunter or Team Jagdi or Team DM or Team BK. I always say, may the correct justice be served for the victims and condolence to the families. I've said that for the last 3 years because I mean it. I owe my motivation, dedication, my promise to Kaylee, may she rest in peace, Maddie, may she rest in peace, Zana, may she rest in peace, and Ethan, may he rest in peace. We want to know not only who unalived these 4 victims. So let's say I'm Team Correct Justice. I want to know how BK got caught up in this mess, if he planned it, allegedly, if he knew about what happened and he got framed, possibly. Anything is possible. So I want BK to get the correct justice too, but I don't understand why he signed the plea deal. I believe different reasons. He could have been threatened. We've heard him and his family have been threatened. So coming back to what I said, I'm not team anyone who's alive. I'm team the people who don't have voices today. And Hunter, Jagdi, all of them have voices. And they're talking. What is strange that I show you, like Jagdi hiding one hand behind his back at the crime scene, or if I see something at the grab truck, that is not accusing someone. I'm just sharing my thoughts and opinion on the pictures in front of us. Today I'll be reading a report of Jagdi. I'm still going bits by bits with the reports, but it's nice to have the reports and the video camera together. Over here we do critical thinking. Everyone's allowed to think for themselves. As long as we're mindful and respectful to the victims and that we don't accuse anyone. But I do ask questions because I want my subscribers to think for themselves. And strangely enough, most of us, it's not even strange, we think alike, almost alike, because we can see things that are not supposed to make sense are ignored here. So let's start with, this is all my thoughts, my speculations, my opinions. What I show you all on the body cam from this clip is all from Law and Crime Network. You can be the judge of what you all are seeing. It's not for me to think for you all. That's what I love about my subscribers. They've always said, Huda, just show us what you think. Let us make our own decisions. So thank you, subscribers. So let's go for, we are not in anyone's team. We're team truth, correct justice. That's what's supposed to happen to start with. These victims don't have any voices anymore to talk for themselves, but we can take pieces from all we've heard from the interviews, like Hunter Johnson, Emily, the Chapin triplets, because we know everything has been changed, in my opinion.
The night before Ethan was killed, Maisie brought him to her sorority formal. She now cherishes the text he sent her before bed.
So he started off by texting me, I think he said, dog, come hang out. We all want you here. And I said, I'm going to bed. And then he said, love you. And I didn't even respond to that. I think I was asleep by then.
And the I love you kind of stood out, though.
Well, yeah, definitely.
So Ethan said, come hang out. We miss you. We all miss you. Maisie said, I'm going to bed. So he said, bye. I love you. And she found that to be weird. Or it stood out for her. These are triplets, born together, raised together. I love you. Why would I love you be strange to say to your sibling? So this was a party house. We can't ignore that. Imagine how much DNA was found there. Is that why they demolished the house? Question mark. Just my speculations. DM uploaded this picture on the 13th of November at 3:33. What odd timing. Isn't that when the white Sierra left? Why does the floor look so red or dark brown? It was always said that DM was home with Quinn Kelly, her boyfriend. He said he's never been to Idaho, Moscow, and I've showed you all pictures of him and DM at the sliding door. So once a person lies, you have to keep an eye on them, in my opinion. In my opinion, it looks like there was a gathering here. Whether it was staged or non-staged, pre-planned, or something that happened suddenly, there was some kind of gathering here. You can see all the beer cans in the box. You can see all the red cups. The table is full of the red plastic cups. There's the black bag here. It looks like somebody attacked them. And I used to always say that in the beginning of this case. What if somebody came from the downstairs and not the sliding door? Because let's not forget, the front door was left wide open and the sliding door was open too. So was that to confuse us, or was that to get the smell out of the house? May the victims rest in peace. I'm just showing you what Law and Crime Network showed us and what I'm observing and what I see. People see things different. This is the team I'm with. These 4 victims. They don't have a voice no more to defend themselves. They didn't see it coming. People ganged upon them, people they trusted, whether it was fraternities, sororities, peers, roommates, boyfriends, ex-boyfriends, anything. The mayor said himself, this is a crime of passion. I always pay attention to the beginning. But the mayor is the one who runs his town. He must have got tips from the cops in the beginning. What I find to be very strange is some places look so clean and organized, and some places look like a walking red flag. There was 3 unidentified male DNAs that were found inside this house in the beginning of this case, if you remember. One was on that Good Vibes picture frame with the light on. I still feel like they were attacked when they had a gathering. Zana loved a gathering always. We hear it from the TikTok video where all the surviving roommates and roommates are imitating each other. DM is acting like Zana and she says, is it all right if I have a small party, a small gathering, only 4 people? Did Zana and Ethan invite people and did it go south? Why is the cleaning room open? Quite strange. Were they attacked from downstairs? The surviving roommates had to know everything. They live in the house. Why would Kaylee be dancing in such a mess? My opinion. So this is the officer. He interviewed Jack T. I interviewed blank at Idaho State Police District 1 office on November 15, 2022. Blank was the ex-boyfriend of victim Kaylee J. Congalvis. Date of birth blank 2001. Blank had been dating Kaylee since they were in high school and dated on and off for approximately 5 years. Blank said they had broken up approximately 3 months earlier due to her taking a job in Austin and that it had been a mutual decision with no drama. I can believe that because Kaylee was going to move with Jordan. According to the facts, Jordan said that in the memorial. Number 3, I advised that he was driving blank and blank. He said that this vehicle was owned by Kaylee's parents. I find that to be strange. Kaylee and Jack were dating for 5 years, up and down. They broke up 3 months before without any drama because Kaylee was moving to Texas, Austin, Texas, with Jordan, her friend, her sorority friend, ex-sorority friend. So if this was happening, were the families still so fond of Jack because he was driving Kaylee's parents, that's Steve and Christy's vehicle? That's all right. Number 4, blank advised that he lived at blank in Moscow with a number of roommates. Blank listed his roommates as, I'm sure it's Adam, blank, 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 blank. I'm sure there are many roommates because we know where Jack D lives, there's many parties. It's not Jack D who's having parties, but we've seen many complaints. The police, body cams, and that's the facts. I noted that the location of the apartment and the crime scene were near each other. I noted that blank and his roommates were all members of blank fraternity. I'm sure that's Jack D's fraternity. Starts with A, I forgot what the name was. Alpha something. I asked blank to describe his whereabouts and events leading up to the time that the homicides occurred. On Saturday, November 12, blank advised that he was at work at the blank, blank, blank between 2:30 p.m. and 10:30 p.m., working mostly in the kitchen. So he works in a kitchen. Blank drove home to the duplex and went upstairs where he found roommates blank, blank, blank. And also present was a friend who was not a roommate named blank. Went upstairs, changed into a sweatshirt, got a beer and waited for the sober driver. Would that be David B? Because David B said in Amazon Prime, one night in Idaho Livings, he said he was the sober driver that night. And he said Ethan and Zana, he saw Zana. Zana said, why don't we party more often? Which would be a red flag, it says. They have brewing beef, according to 4chan. Allegedly. So the sober driver, who was blank freshman, he was a blank freshman to come pick them up, said the sober driver arrived in what he thought was a black Nissan X-Tour and took him blank and blank to the corner club. It couldn't be David B because David B is a senior. Number 6, blank said they arrived at the corner club around 11 p.m. He said the club was packed and they were admitted in because his roommate blank blank was working at the club and let him in. That would be Adam Lauder. Blank said he got into a confrontation with Blank. Okay, so this is interesting. Because all I want is the truth, and that's all we want. I've always said, Jack D has scars on his hands. We can clearly see that. Unless we're avoiding the truth. So my question is, I've always asked this. Could he have got it from a fight that night? Could he have fought with Shawalter or someone? That was always my question. Because it's strange to come to a crime scene and your hands have a plaster, Band-Aid, and your hands look so rough. There's many more pictures. That's not me. That came from the internet, from the college itself. We know he's an axe thrower. We've seen pictures of that. So I'm not accusing anyone. I'm not accusing Jack D. But there's questions to be answered. So it's interesting. He's going to explain that he was in a fight that night. That could make sense. Number 6, they arrived at the corner club around 11 p.m. He said the club was packed and they were admitted in because his roommate, blank, was working at the corner club and let him in. That would be Adam Lauder. Blank said he got into a confrontation. Interesting. Is that where he got all these injuries? With the blank member named Blank, because, could that be Jack Shawalter? Because Blank had been messing with one of his friends. Strange. So he got into a confrontation with someone. And remember, I've always asked, could Jack Deere have got into a confrontation with Shawalter, with John Shawalter? Because John Shawalter had a cut in his face too. They both seem to have been injured, but we never saw John Shawalter after that. But Jack D, there was pictures of him circling online, Reddit. This is whether they're rumors or not. But seeing him on Law and Crime Network, that's the real police body cam. So it's nice to know where he could have got the injuries from. He got into a confrontation with Blank, member named Blank, because Blank had been messing with one of his friends. Blank, friend. Okay, so Blank was messing with one of his friends. Could it be Jack Shawalter messing around with the girls? Because remember to say Kaylee got Jack Shawalter kicked out of the corner club. And we've heard of in the reports of another guy called CJ or CM that was bothering people at the grub truck too. So he told Blank to lay off and they bought each other a shot. Like they basically blessed it. Okay, number 7. Blank said he saw Kaylee at the corner club that night. It was not uncommon for Kaylee to be at the club. But I think Maddie was there more than Kaylee. You hear that from the noise complaints when the police are calling her. Blank, who was Blank's girlfriend, said he left at approximately 1 a.m. Blank said he, Blank, and Blank were picked up from the club by Blank, who was the president of the Blank fraternity. He's the president. Isn't David B. a president of Sigma Chi? Interesting. Don't forget he was a sober driver that night. So somebody came and picked up Jack D from the corner club, who was a senior president, who was a president of a fraternity, and returned to the apartment. Blank said he consumed 2 beers, 2 shots of tequila, 1 shot of rum pill, men's and a 32-ounce tub of beer. Blank said after returning to the apartment, he hung out with his roommates for a period of time, tried to throw up but couldn't, and went to bed. That is the part where WSU Kim says different, whether we believe her or not. She says that her daughter told her that Jack D asked her daughter's sorority friend in WSU, Pullman, to be the alibi for him. That's according to WSU Kim. It's all out there. So we're just going through and summarizing everything we know and everything we see. And it's all alleged. So he said he went home, he hung out around with his friends, then he tried to throw up, he couldn't, and he went to bed. Interesting. Number 8, he said he woke up around 11:30 a.m. the next day, Sunday, November 13, 2022. Blank said blank, 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 and blank came into the apartment and talked about cops being down the street near 1122 Kingwood, assume. And blank came into the apartment and talked about the car. He tried to call Kaylee on the phone, but no answer. I understand, but why didn't you pick up when Kaylee and Maddie were calling you? From 2:26 to 2:53 a.m. Those questions need to be asked. He said he was sleeping. Lord knows. There's no one whose statements make sense, to be honest. He tried to call Kaylee on the phone, but no answer. Blank said he walked down the street where Kaylee's apartment and saw Blank, who was Ethan Chapin's friend. That's Hunter thing. Blank said he asked one of the officers on the scene to tell him what was going on and told an officer that his ex-girlfriend lived in the house. Blank said the police put him in the back of a patrol car for about 45 minutes. I wonder why. Also present sitting, Blank was another Blank. Blank said was a good friend of Kaylee's. A good friend of Kaylee's was sitting there too. Is that Hunter ever said she was there? At some point, the University of Idaho put out a text university-wide announcing a homicide had occurred. Yeah, they did that at 1 o'clock. Then at 3 o'clock, they put out the vandal. We know that. At my request, Blank drew a sketch of Kaylee's apartment and labeled the rooms by the names of the persons he need to have attached these drawings. Oh, this is interesting. Number 9, at my request, Blank, that's JD, drew a sketch of Kaylee's apartment and labeled the rooms by the names of the persons he knew to have been living there. Attach these drawings to his supplement and will transfer them over. So, now we know definitely that without a doubt that Jack D knows each and every room in the house because he had to do a drawing for the officers. Now we are just following our facts, nothing else. Reading the police reports. So what do you all think when you read these reports and watch the body cam that Jack D is being put in the Land Cruiser of the cops for 45 minutes? I have just the same questions. Why doesn't he have both his hands where the cops can see him? That's the way it is supposed to be. And yes, he said himself he had a fight the night before. I can believe that. But he was injured. So maybe he got all the injuries and allegedly cuts or whatever it was from that fight. I wouldn't know where he got it from. but it's interesting because these are the police reports. And what we see on the body cams are the police body cams. So I'm not accusing anyone. I'm just going with the facts of what I see. I wish we could get more explanation about where Jack D got those injuries from. Did he get it from the fight he had the night before? He said he was defending his friend. It was the same night Kaylee was asking Maddie, what did he tell Adam? So there's a lot going on, I assume, at the Corner Club, in my opinion. He need to be living in each room. I've attached these drawings to the supplement and will transfer them to the Moscow Police Department. I will also scan these sketches and place the scans on a disk to include the audio recordings of Blank's interviews as well as other documents. Number 10, I asked Blank if he had any idea who could have been responsible for committing these homicides. Blank advised that he has seen a video from the grub truck on Main Street the night before showing a Blank member named Blank seemed to follow Kaylee and Maddie Morgan from the area of the grub truck before they went home. This is interesting. So this is Jack D's report. Jack D saying, the detective says, I asked Blank if he had any idea who could have been responsible for committing these homicides. Blank advised that he had seen a video from the grub truck from the Main Street the night before showing a Blank member, that's some fraternity member. So Jack D is saying that he's seen a video from the grub truck on Main Street the night before showing a Blank member named Blank seeming to follow Kaylee and Maddie Morgan from the area of the grub truck before they went home. That would be Showalter. My opinion. Blank also advised that he had heard from Blank that a man named Blank has been acting predatory at the Corner Club the night before, and the Corner Club had kicked him out. So there's two separate incidents. The person who got kicked out, and we heard Jack Showalter got kicked out too. So Jack D thinks it's one of those two. According to Jack D's opinion, Jack D thinks it's Jack Showalter, I believe, because he was the last person who was following Kaylee and Maddie from the grub truck, and they ditched him. That's the facts. I asked Blank to describe what vehicles the four victims drove. Blank advised Maddie Morgan drove a white Chevy Cruze. That's important. Kaylee drove a silver Range Rover, the one that she just bought. May they all rest in peace. Ethan drove a red Jeep Wrangler, and Xana Kanoodle drove a blue Honda Civic. They all were parked in front of the house, but whose black SUV was it?